Hey guys, how are you all doing? How's your day going? And if it's just starting, how was your night? Hope you had an amazing and a beautiful night rest. For those of you who don't know this yet, my name is Praise, and you are currently tuned into my channel. We have covered a lot so far, and we're just progressing. Today we're going to be working on a project, a very popular project, which I mentioned in one of the videos I uploaded not too long ago, talking about. I'll link the video at the end of the video. I don't know. But yeah, I covered all the few projects I think you should work on, and I made mention of calculator because calculator covers almost all the basic knowledge you should have. Although I'm gonna go a step further, and I'm gonna introduce you guys to, how do you say it? Um Graphic user interface using Python. But we don't have to use a framework for this. So, shall we get started? I told you when working on a project, first thing you need to do is plan out. Let me just open my notepad. We're gonna plan out what we want the calculator to be able to do. So we're doing a simple calculator. So the first thing we want to be able to carry out basic operations. This includes addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now this is going to be this first section. Who am I overdoing it? I'm overdoing it. Let's not go ahead of ourselves. Instead, let's also be able to do um okay, no, we're doing a simple calculator. No, I wanted to add like more complex, but no, end here. So just be able to add, and subtract, multiply, and divide. Once we start going further, we're going to be able to do is we want to enable the user to input what they want to carry out. We want to have buttons which signifies the numbers and the operations. And we want to be able to get an output, obviously. So now that we have a basic outline of everything we want, let's start our project. Okay, so before we okay, how should so initially I was thinking we should throw in the functions we call. So here is a basic implementation of the Tkinter, however I pronounce it. So let's not call it function now. Let's implement the whole look and everything. So when working, remember you have to import Tkinter. After it's imported, I just for this one. Import. After it's imported, we want to declare our root folder, which is going to be equals to tk. Now let's build. So hold on, let me. I'm not. Do I still have paint? Is paint still an app that covers it? It does. We'll see paint 3D. What is this? Never used this app in my life. But let's try and paint the calculator. I think all calculators have a very basic look, I guess. So nothing special. We would have Let's try it again. Do I have shades? I'm quite sorry. This reminding me. Whoosh. This cool. I'm sorry. We need a small rectangle. It's going to become like the input screen. We can make this like an input box. Then we'll get into that shortly. Then everywhere down here is going to be everything else. Mm. Now, above here, we want to have a we want to have the letter C, which is usually used to kind of like let's just say is used to clear out everything that you currently have on screen. But I just happy it's hard to use. It's so hard. I can't do this. Okay. Oh, it's so hard. You know what? Let's do it this way. This whole section like this would signify all the. I can write outside there. This would be a list of all these signs, symbols, and everything. This section like this will be the digits. But it's so hard. How do people draw with this stuff? Ah, so hard. But I won't forget, don't worry. So here will be our digits, here will be our signs and symbols, and here will be our input screen. So let's get the input screen at the top there, right? So in okay, let me just quickly explain the error we just had here. So as you can see, it's showing white. If it's showing white or with this red underline, it's kind of like an error. But once I put this asterisk here, it's going to fix itself. So let's just comment this out. Let me explain what happens. I just imported Tkinter. So usually what you have to do when you implement things like this, you pass the name of the model where you imported it from. So Tkinter dots and it fixes that error. But if you don't want to have to do this, so we can just clean this out and import all the elements from Tkinter directly into the system. So you can just access it without having to pass in the name of the model where we're working with, if you understand what I'm saying. Okay, now let me just I want to explain. So in taking time, we have how do I explain this now? There are a list of things you call when you want to create something. Just like see it as the HTML of Python. For example, if you want to pass a label, you pass the label function. If you want to pass and get an entry, that is the input I've been calling you pass the entry function. So let's pass the name of our calculator, right? Let's say M is equals to label in calculator. Then you'll have where you want it to show is inside root. And you want to you could declare text equal to um calculator. I don't know how to spell calculator. Okay, this should be then we'll just call it, right? Yeah, you declare the text. I'm on the right track. I use grid here. There's something else you use when you don't want to use grid. What do you call it? Push. Can't remember. Can't remember honestly. I'll try and see if I can Google it and get it. But since that's the one that's here, let's just use grid. So it's m dot grid. I'll just declare the location where I want it to show. So this grid is kind of like placement on the app. So the Windows is going to pop up once you run it. Okay, and let's just say um now let's call the whole Windows we just declared now. Ouch! And hopefully this does it. Let's run our file, Python file.py, and here it is. So you can go for and style it now. So let's do that. Let's so where is rows? This is rows, this is column. So let's adjust the column. Mm. Okay, I don't know why nothing is happening, but you know what? Let's just put a break on that. Okay, so how do we affect? Let's make the text size bigger. So let's do that. So editing font size or even the main font itself is very simple. So in between the label, you just pass in this font. If you just write like this, you can see you see. Let's just go through everything and see which one I know. Active foreground. Foreground is the color, is text color. So wherever you see foreground, you just know it's text color. BG background is background, obviously. This font is what we're talking about here. This is where we are. That's basically all. Justify is like shift to the left, to the right, or wherever. So for fonts, if, let's say for example, want to pass font text. I don't think I know any font of heart. Arial. Well, I don't know. Is it Arial or Arial? I don't know. But since we're not changing the font, we'll just pass the font size. Let's say I think 25 should be okay for now. So let's just run it and see how it looks. Okay, this looks okay, right? Now remember I was trying to move it. So you know we have this padding and margin. So we can use padding here. So I think it's pad X. If you want to go on the X axis, yes, then you just pass it. So the default is 1. So let's just say if we pass 20, you can see it's moving now. But since this calculator is just the text, what if we want to move this calculator here to this place where we're seeing this TK? So let's do that now, shall we? So instead of passing all this whole label and whatnot, we will just pass root, because the root we're on, dot title, and we'll pass the text. Can save it and run it now. So you can see here we have changed the title. So this, like, if you have done HTML, this should kind of be like a more advanced version of HTML for you. So what else do we want to do? We want to create that text box we spoke about. Remember I said entry. So let's call it what name should we use for it? Hmm, let's say F. Let's just call it. I'm trying to think of a name that I will not forget. Um ah why is naming things so hard? Let's just do for please. Equals to entry. They're always in capital letters. Okay, so we have declared the entry, but we have not added any input for the styling. So let's see how we did here. You declare where you want it to show always. Then okay, I didn't even add any styling for this one. So we want to work on the size, on the width and everything. So let's start entering roots, and maybe the pop-up will show us more things we can use. Okay. Um okay, command is you use command when you want to declare a function, if you want to implement a function, but just put a break on that one. um let's just run this, then we'll just come back and style it. Increasing the width. What's happening? Give me a second. Oh, I didn't place it grid. Let's do it below pop dots. And I just remembered it's pack I usually use if I'm not using grid. But I don't think you can use grid and pack in one. I don't think it works that way, Sha. But you can try it if it works for you too. Let's just put it below, but we still want it to be on the same line. We still want everything to be on the same line. So column is 0. Save that and let's run it. And yeah, there we go. So it takes input, but it literally does nothing with the input. It's just there. You can press enter all you want, it doesn't recognize it. So let's size it now and let's come back, shall we? Okay. Okay, so I'm not really familiar with these takings, so I had to Google how I can resize it. And what they said, I should use this iPad X, kind of like the padding I showed not too long ago. So let's just straight in. Let's just do 50. And let's do 100. Well, let's try 100 and 50. Also, they say, when a calculator pops up on the screen, especially on laptops, it will have like a fixed size. It isn't exactly as small as, it's bigger than what it's showing when we run the code. So you use that using geometry. So it's going to be root dot geometry, and we'll just pass in the ratio we want. So 500 by 500. So let's run it, and there we go. So let's increase the size of this. Let's say, let me try 500. I haven't closed it. Alright, this is okay. Then for the calculator text, um I don't even know what's happening honestly. Um Still not showing. is happening? Oh gosh. Let's just go back to the number we had before. Because it's 500 just straight off. Let's try 200. Okay, that did it. This is okay. This is beautiful. Okay. Next, we want to get the other calculators down there. So I'm just going to use button. Now using button is just declaring the name and declaring button. It's really simple. Says here, just declare button, declare the text. This is the command I was talking about, but we don't have a function, so we're just going to declare the button and display the button. So I'm just going to do it first because it's going to involve me trying to figure out styling, and I'm very terrible at that. And I will be back shortly. So yeah. Alright, so I'm done creating it. I tell you, I'm not into UI UX. Anything that involves styling, just count me out of it. But this took way too long, so let me just clean all these extra things that included for me. Let me clean this. Alright, and let me just quickly brief you on the few changes I made. So remember we were using grid to place it. So I told you that we have pack, we have grid, another one is place. The grid, I don't really know how the grid size is, so I had to just get rid of grid completely, and I'm using place instead. So place, I'm working with axis. So that one is better. So you can, if you have figured out how the grid system works, you can use that. I don't know how it works, so I'm using place, and it's working perfectly for me. Then I included a button for all the decimal digits. I was going to add more things, but I'm like, this is a simple calculator. Let's just leave that for now. As we advance in the course, we would work on something more serious. Then I replaced that entry with a label because I'm like, since we're using buttons, I don't want the user to impute their numbers themselves. Because what if they impute a function that the calculator cannot control? I don't want to have to start passing errors for all those things. You can do that if that's what you want, but I personally don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna pass a label. So as they input, the label is going to show. So let me just run and show you my program, and now we're going to start declaring our functions. So I know it's not the finest. I also, yes, I added something else. So this, if you scroll down, so remember I showed you geometry. So geometry will set the size. Then you can set resizable to false. So you can this for the x-axis and the y-axis. We don't want it to be able to change size. So if you run my program, you can see you cannot increase the maximize button isn't working. So there you have it. Woo! My calculators. Now let's get into declaring the functions. Alright. Alright, so what are the things we want to happen now? So let's run the program one more time so we can see where we are at and understand. So one that on click, we want like once they click on it, it's going to add the figure they click here. So let's just go to a new tab, and I'm going to explain it using basic Python because you can't just jump head front into it. You're going to make some silly mistakes. So let's come to this new file. Let's say given the default value they have there is 0, right? So let's assume that 0 is equals to empty. So we're going to work with strings, not integer. So let's say we have a string which is calc and is equals to an empty string, right? We want that once the person clicks on once person clicks on it, it's going to calculate. So um since now here I cannot be passing, I cannot just on my own just try, I can just try except if an EOF error. You remember EOF, how interesting I say EOF error? Okay, that an EOF error is when you do, I think it's control C or control Z for Python, one of them is for Python. So that is an EOF error. It's kind of like a force escape. So the equal to sign is going to kind of be like that EOF error. But if I wanted to do it here in Kaggle, just been looping, but I'm blabbing. So let us declare multiple variables. Should I have serious hiccups? Let's say A is, okay, let's add the figure here. Let's say it's 4. Let's say A is equals to the addition sign. B is equal to a digit. C is equal to the multiplication sign. And D is equal to another digit. Right? So we want it that as they are clicking the button is adding it, but we don't want it to be replacing what is already inside calc. We want it to be creating a long equation. So how do we do about that? Remember, you can add strings. So we'll just be printing as we add. So we say print calc, then calc is going to be plus equal to a, print calc. Let me just copy this and just be pasting it. And calc is going to be plus equal to b. Calc is going to be plus equal to ABC. Calc is going to be plus equal to ABCD. Print calc. Then the final thing we want to do is, once it wouldn't just print calc, we want it to evaluate. So evaluate is kind of like evaluating a string. Instead of having to look through the string, get all the operators and all the integers that are in that string, you just automatically calculate it yourself. So you don't need to import anything to use this. So you just pass the eval and pass the variable you want to evaluate, and we run it. Sorry, I'm running the wrong program. Sorry. um so you can see it. We had 4 at first, then we added the addition sign, added 5, added multiplication. So you can just pass this calculation into your calculator yourself. So this is what we're going to implement now. So let's break it down now gradually. Let's declare the variable. So I'm commenting. I should put the, let me put the function here. Okay. So I'm going to, let's hashtag declare the working variable, or declare the default variable. Should have just used string. So let's use calc. So it'll be something I'm more familiar with. Is equals to an empty string. Remember? Now we're going to define a function, because the only way we can access it is the only way we can access this um the functional attributes of the program into our thinker is if we define a function, so we can pass the command into the button. So that command is kind of like on click. So once you click, run this function. So there's hashtag. I hope people know what this hashtag is. It's commenting. It's kind of like a documentation defining the function. So um let me try something. Let's evaluate an empty string. Let's know if we get an error. Calc equals to an empty string. Print, print, evaluate, calc. Let's see if we get an error if we run an empty string. Okay, so we're going to syntax error. So let's just try and accept, right? Okay, let's vent first. Let's look ahead of ourselves. Define sorry calculations. Let's just calculate, and I don't want to be using names that may already exist. Calculating. Hmm. Is calculating the right term? Because this function, what is this function? Okay, you know what? Calm down, please. Calm down. No, no. Okay, wow. I want to check if the button is adding. What like about this? Or will I have to define everything individually? Oh, okay, let's do that. Let's define everything individually. Later on, I'm going to see if you guys have a way to go about this where you can check for which button you're clicking on. Because like I said, I'm not really familiar with this format. I usually use frameworks. But if you guys know how we can do this, just let me know. Then we can come back and update this program. But let's do this. Okay. Def it's gonna suck. A. So what we want is we want let's try something again. Oh, so this is supposed to be string. Alright, so that'll work. That'll work. Alright. Calc plus equals to we want to add this for addition. Let's see what happens if addition is the first. I'm just trying to be sure that it can run everything. Okay. I think it's putting like a default 0 there. Minus 3. We also accept multiplication. Multiplication. Okay. Right, so we'll come back and handle these errors later. But for now, let's just assume the people who are using this calculator are smart. So return cal Okay, so I had to go offline quickly because I was encountering an issue. So the only one I haven't ever really tried displaying my outfit on the site. The only project I've done is getting input from the user using entry and passing the name of the variable dot get to get the value that the user imputed. So if part of me assumed it was going to be the same thing, but I went to Stack Overflow, oh, I don't even know. I went Stack Overflow and I was able to resolve the issue. So I'm just gonna explain what I did. So remember pop here. Remember I said pop was gonna be what was going to show our input. So now I can either pass, like I'm going to do this later on my passing. I'll pass if we have a variable here calc. If calc is equals to an empty string, then we're going to pass pop to show zero. Else we're going to pass this pop text equals to this thing. Now, but for now I'm not going to do that because I don't want to complicate the site yet. I'm going to test it somewhere and I'll just redo it here. But as you can see, this is the function for the addition when you click the plus sign. We will set calc to be a global variable because any variable that you call within a function only exists within that function, but we want it to be able to access outside the function, so we'll make it global using this global, then the name of the variable. Then we want to add equal to plus because it's plus that they're clicking on. Then pop is name of the label variable here, so it's going to be pop in a box bracket text equals to calc. So if we run it, you add plus, you're seeing plus keeps appearing because we're adding plus. So let's just close that for now. Finally it's working. So let's just copy this and redo the same thing for all the other ones we have. Oh, we've done adding. Let's do subtracting is going to be minus. Let's run it and be sure it's working it's working. Okay, we're going off, we're picking up now. Let's do for division. Let's just do dv and multiplying at once. The equation sign, we're going to do eval for equations. We're not going to print anything out, it's just to evaluate it. Addition, minus, division, multiplication. Right? Now let's go to our numbers. We can't use numbers to declare variables, even though it have been so much easier. Right, I'm gonna pop out and just come back once I've done from 3 to 9. It's the exact same code. So alright, so I'm done. Let me make the screen larger. Alright, I'm done defining my functions for all the digits. Here they are. Now to just test it and be sure everything goes well. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, multiple, divide, minus, and add. But I've not yet defined. Oh, so let's just do this. This is the last thing that's remaining for us. So let's define a new function. I've already explained how eval works here. It's a very simple code. So let's define a function. I've run out of names for functions. So let's do eval evaluate since that's how I've been naming everything. And what we want it to do is global calc, right? So I want to try, I want to accept any error cause. We'll do pop text equals to, and should we do it all caps? Let's do all caps. And an error, I don't know how to spell code. Oh gosh, let me oh wait, let me google it. Shit. I, okay, I was correct. OOC, okay, no, it's you. OOCU occurred, right? Alright, an error code. But if there's no error, let's work on our try. We want, um, with this work, let's try this here. So, I'm not printing yet. We want to set calc equal to evaluation calc. They want to print calc. I say work. So calc equals to eval calc. Okay. Then pop text is equal to calc. Now let's pass this into our equals equating command equals to evaluate. Let's save it. Let's keep our fingers crossed and let's run it. Oh, sorry, run the wrong one. Right, and let's purposely pass an error. Ooh! Let's do basic math. Okay, no, now this is an error. Once an error occurs, we want them to set. Let's go back to our function. Where is it? Okay. Or should we define a new function? Okay, no. After they have declared pop text is equals to calc, let's now do calc is equal to an empty string. I hope it wouldn't affect it. And pop text equals to an error code. We'll do calc is equal to an empty string. Let's try this now. All right, so let's go for an error. An error code. Let's go for something. Whoosh. 7 plus 7. What is 7 plus 7? 14. Come on. Come on. Let's check for zero division error. Alright. So should we, I'm in a good mood. Let's add C. You know that C stuff that if you press it, is going to clear everything that's on the screen. Let's add that. Let's add that. I'm in a very good mood today. So let's go back to where we're adding those buttons. So what we want to, let's define the C first. I don't even, this my problem is I don't even have names again. Have I defined any variable that is called C? For example, C equal to button. Button is present in root. Now what is the styling size I'm using? Okay, let's set the text. The C is in capital letter, right? Alright, let me just copy this one. Height. Now let's do the placing. So the placing will be beside 0 and 1. Let's save this first. Let's see where we have to place. If we put it here, we'll be okay, right? We have not even done decimal. Oh, should we add decimal? Yeah, let's add decimal. So let's place the C here before 1 and we'll come back for decimal. Let's place the C before 1. So where is 1 here? So C dot place. So by using a space gap of 50, so x is going to be equals to 100 and y is equals to 180. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. Right now let's set let's define the function for C. As I can say, I'm commenting. So once your code starts getting long, you need to start commenting so you're able to track where we are. Well, I've written 100 and something lines. Okay, let's come down here then. Let's define it here. I don't have any name for it again. No. Let's do def clearing. Clary. Clary. And we want it to just global calc. Then calc is equals to empty. And we want to pass it into pop. Pop text equals calc. Control S. I want to, what I'm going to do, so you all can access it for yourself. Why is it not working? What is happening? Oh, I've not passed it into C. Sorry, my bad. So I'm going to make this an executable file so you can download it on your system. If you want me to create a new video to show you how you can do that, you can let me know in the description below. I'm not going to do that in this video. What is the name? Clary. Okay. I'm not going to do that in this video. I don't feel like doing it in this video because the video is already extremely long. So, right, there we go. So if you want to see that, you can let me know. All right, so let's add our decimal points. Everything is coming together now. It's all coming together. Deci. Let's just copy everything. Now let's define this function. Where are we defining functions here? Let's take it up. Let's go back to digits. Where digits are. Check evaluate will work for a float because this one is automatically going to make it a float. Hopefully it works. I haven't really tried it. And let's see, let's pass it into our command. Let's see. Okay, this should be it. Save your file. Oh, I've not even placed it on the screen. Let's see. So where are we placing? So 0 is 100, 150, 20. 0 is 250. So where is the name even? Let's see. DECI, just one I. Someone should please do a class for me that teaches me how to name pins because I honestly don't know. X should be 250, right? And Y is 180. There we go. See, everything looks beautiful now. Point 0.8 plus 1. I'm so happy. Oh my god. So I'm going to well done. If you want to learn styling, you can let me know. I'll just maybe jog my memory on jog my memory on this model we made use of in this video. The styling, remember I showed you already, foreground is for the text, background for the back. You can style with height, width, play around with it. I would see maybe I can even come up and do a better video teaching you how to do so. And maybe on your own, try and see if you can push this stuff from here to here. There is all you're just going to have to make use of padding. It's very easy. Or you can even make use of this XY, pushing your value to show at that point. But be creative, find a way to do it on your own. I'm going to create the exe file now. I think I should create an app file so you can also run it on your phone. Ooh, I really could put. So yeah, I hope this video helped you. The source code is going to be on my GitHub. The app file is going to be, I'll need to think of where I can place it. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Hope you guys here next time. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye.